We give you a chance to talk about it. Your opinion, your voice.
This is Nigeria Info, Port Harcourt.
Your number one news, talk, and sports radio station.
We connect you to the world. We connect you to the vicinity. We are Nigeria Info.
Listen to me. I said this is a real situation and the government has to do something about it. You're trying to insinuate all these people looting Nigeria's money?
This is Nigeria Info in the heart of Nigeria. 92.3. We are Nigeria Info.
We give the facts.
News entirely.
We give the evidence. Just to keep you informed.
News, weather.
I get my information top of the hour every hour.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
And now, hard facts.
Hard facts with Dion.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hard Facts 90.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. It's 11 minutes past 3 p.m. and it is the Friday edition. It's great to be here on the show today. Good to know you there as well, being a part of it. I hope you had a fine week. Of course, the working week coming to an end today being Friday, at least for most persons. There are those who do work throughout the week or through the weekends. But all the same, you're welcome, irrespective of what's your disposition, work-wise, weekday or weekend is. But I hope that's thus far you've had a fine week. And today especially has been a productive one. You're welcome to the Friday edition of the show. I particularly am fascinated by it. Well, because it's Friday. And tomorrow is Saturday. But it's great to be here nonetheless, whatever the case is. When we get the conversation started now, a few matters on the agenda today. We'll take a look at those. Let's see, starting with today's side comments, random stories and random thoughts which will not be discussed at this time, but possibly during the open season segment. I'll take your thoughts on those. I've got a rant coming up as well, something in my mind. I'll express some thoughts on it. You're welcome to express your thoughts and mine as well, all the way till 4 p.m. Now, we've got the business news coming up, and after that we'll dive into other discussions. Still the matter of the school principal who invited soldiers to discipline students here in Port Harcourt. We're going to be looking at that matter still. I am somewhat fascinated by it. I do concede, or I do confess rather. Well, here's the story from yesterday. Principal of Rumopara Community Secondary School along the East-West Road axis of Port Harcourt said military men were invited to the school not to punish any student but to caution them against a planned attack on some of their teachers. Now, the principal spoke to our correspondent and complained of inappropriate behavior of the students during and after school hours and called on parents to ensure they discipline their children properly. Now, earlier, a student of the school spoke of men in military uniforms flogging students at the community secondary school Rumokpara today. He said the men told students to lay down inside the school gutter. The student told our correspondent that the men in military uniform were invited to the school by the principal over a confrontation between a teacher and an SS3 student on Monday. And let's hear what that student had to say on the matter once again. I believe it's very much appropriate to do so.
The boy church bango. Teacher can't tell us something come out. Teacher tell us something come out. And when the like when I explain for teacher now, maybe for then they come out the bango. Teacher can't carry cane flog and from out there. Mat here arise. To make it converse. Come out from school. Come back again. Come go meet teacher like me. Teacher get money make I buy medicine. I think go meet teacher now. No one here waiting. Teacher can't answer. So yeah, don't come back to fight me. You answer the teacher. Teacher can't carry cane flog again. Flog and for I here. You can't carry before this thing. Before they come out to the fight, they can't carry them go press for office. So now, then I can't the boy, brother. I can't say they give the boy suspension until enter me while I reach.
Now, the student described the situation as a human rights abuse.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell students like that.
And you carry your face like that for this guy went please.
This thing that they violate our human rights now. Sweeten they do, and then they violate our human rights. Like this is not okay. This is not okay. This is not okay. Me person like my people listen to human rights. Who be students? They're not supposed to treat us like so cow. They're not supposed to treat us like this.
So, I'll be speaking. Is it okay? Is it fine for a school principal to should a principal of a school invite soldiers to a school to discipline students? Yesterday, I did deliver a rant on this yesterday, but more today on that conversation, on the matter. And I'll be having a guest with me in the 4 o'clock hour for this conversation. I'll be speaking with an educationist with many years' experience as far as education is concerned. He'll be my guest in the 4 o'clock hour as we explore this situation as to whether or not a principal should be able to do this. And even when a principal or school management or school managers are confronted with difficult or seemingly difficult situations in their schools, what the steps, what right steps should be taken, or the advice to take, even when confronted with very difficult or dire situations. That comes up in the 4 o'clock hour. Till about 5, after the business news, that is, till 5. And 5, we've got the news updates coming up. Yes, we do. And thereafter, we're discussing something else. Well, the PDP is unhappy with Onoche's nomination. We'll be looking at that. The PDP story here cuts the Premium Times caption: PDP protests Loretta Onoche's nomination at National Assembly. I think this was a day or two ago, I suppose. Well, the details here in the Premium Times and just about every other daily as well. Captioned once again: PDP protests Loretta Onoche's nomination at National Assembly. I'll take a brief look at that story before moving on. Now, here's a bit of it. The PDP has joined other groups calling for the rejection of Loretta Onoche's nomination as an INEC commissioner. Executives and supporters of the party, led by its national chairman, Uche Secondas, stormed the entrance of the National Assembly around 12:30 p.m. on Wednesday to kick against Ms. Onoche's nomination. Ms. Onoche, the current special assistant on new media to President Muhammadu Buhari, was appointed by the president as an INEC commissioner in October 2020. The appointment had triggered outrage among Nigerians, with many individuals and groups calling for the rejection of the nominee who has openly declared membership for the APC. She had also campaigned for Mr. Buhari in 2015. We'll be discussing this development in the 5 o'clock hour. Why is the PDP very concerned about this matter? And I'll be having as my guest for that conversation in the 5 o'clock hour Ambassador Desmond Akao. He is chairman of the People's Democratic Party here in Rivers State. He'll join me for that conversation. We've got headlines 5:30 p.m., major news at 6, and open season comes up afterwards, during which if you miss out on any matter discussed on the show, I'll take your thoughts during that period. Till about 7 o'clock, of course, when the show comes to an end today. So let's get discussions going right now with today's side comments, random stories, and random thoughts that I came across as I checked out the news earlier on today. ASU Vice Chairman, University of Port Harcourt Chapter, Dr. Uzoma Darlington Chima, says the federal government has not implemented most of the agreement it reached with the union last year. In an interview with our correspondent, Mr. Chima said most ASU members are still owed salaries of up to 12 months. Let's hear what... goodness gracious. Let's hear what the University Dawn had to say about this latest in what appears to be a never-ending series of federal government's disappointments, at least as far as ASU is concerned. What's that? It's July 20. All right, here we are.
The extent of implementation of the 2020 MOA that led to the suspension of the last strike is not encouraged as usual. If you look at the different terms of agreement, many of our members are still being owed salaries from 2 to about even up to 12 months before the suspension of our strike. Part of the agreement is that there won't be any form of victimization. All the efforts made have not yielded the expected result. There was a promise with respect to the agreement that the second tranche, another tranche of EAA will be released in May. As I speak with you, that hasn't been done.
I'd like to play, for very good reason, the very first few seconds of that statement. It's something I'd like to draw out from his statement.
The essence of implementation of the 2020 MOA that led to the suspension of the last strike is not encouraged as usual.
All right, the part where he said as usual. So the fact of the matter is, no surprises here. It's as usual, which is why I've asked the question severally. And many of those times I've had Dr. Austin Sado in the studio here. I've had some discussion with him, sometimes on radio or off the airwaves. And I ask, it's no surprise, it never is shocking that the federal government does not live up to agreements or does not keep to its own side of agreement reached with ASU, which begets the question for me consistently: why does ASU always never see these things through, these discussions through, before either suspending or calling off its strike? And then the common response always is, well, the people have begged, stakeholders have reached out, and parents are begging that their children should go out of the house, and all of that. So, well, you don't have to be a prophet to predict what's going to happen next. It's literally just common sense. It's going to happen again. It's only a matter of time. ASU is going to, either give a warning strike, but since I think they suspended the last one, so I'm not sure if a warning strike would be required, but a strike is going to happen at some point. ASU will give notice that they are going to embark on that strike or continue with the strike. The federal government will not say anything, and then somebody in government, I don't know, maybe Ministry of Education or Ministry of Labor might say something threatening. But ASU will still embark on the strike. No meeting will hold before then. And after the strike has commenced, maybe about a week afterwards, federal government will then reach out to ASU through the Ministry of Education and very likely Ministry of Labor as well, to come for a roundtable discussions where they're going to have meetings. They're going to discuss this. These meetings are going to span late into the night, as they usually do, and only God knows what they're discussing really. Many times, and then after several meetings during which there might be disagreements, and then somebody in government will say that will threaten the no work no pay policy. You cannot hold the government to ransom. You can't hold government to ransom. You can't expect government. There are many things. When these agreements were reached, this government was not in power. See, when these agreements were reached, this government was not in power. You cannot hold government to ransom. You cannot hold government to ransom. This administration of retired General Muhammadu Buhari we know this man is doing everything possible to ensure that this country is able to work and things are working right. We know this man. We know the integrity that he has. You cannot hold this government to see. If they don't go back to this government has the power. No work, no pay. No work, no pay. Let them stay at home and they will see. In fact, sack all of them and employ. There are people out there who want to work. Employ the lecturers. Sack all of them. Let them all go and sit down at home, since they prefer to sit down at home than do the jobs they are. You cannot tell your employer how the employer is going to do. It is not done anywhere. It is not done anywhere. Of course, that's going to happen, and then ASU will just look at the person like a little child throwing a tantrum because the child wants ice cream and the mom said they can't have ice cream. And then, of course, nothing's going to happen. They're going to have a series of more meetings, and then ASU is finally going to announce that, after due consultations and deliberations, a new memorandum. A new memorandum of understanding agreement has been signed. I say we're not bad people. We are just there to ensure that our educational system works. But we have received calls from stakeholders. The Speaker of the House of Assembly has waded into the matter. The President of the Senate has also reached out to us, and stakeholders, top government functionaries. We have all been talking, and we have signed a new memorandum. We hope that government will this time, they will listen and they will implement the agreements that we have reached in the interest, you have to stress certain parts, in the interest of the common good of this great country, Nigeria. Now, dear students, who we are all parents. All of us here are parents. We all have children, So when we embark on this things, because of the future. We all want the future. We all want the future to be good. Thank you very much. That's what's going to happen. And then right after ASU comes back from their own strike, the other guys, are going to go. The NASU and Co are going to then go on theirs as well. Vicious cycle indeed. So let's see. What else caught my attention today? What else? Did anything else catch my fancy when I checked out the news? Let's see. EFCC is at it, parading or arraigning persons. Pardon me, arraigning persons. Yeah. Also, some court has convicted all thieves. That's good news. That's very good news. EFCC appear to have been involved with that also. It's good to see the EFCC doing their job. That's a very good thing, I suppose. And His Excellency Nyesom Wike has carried out his threat of no work, no pay policy against the parliamentary workers in Rivers State. Confirming this, Chairman of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, passing in the state, comforted when I say they will deploy all legal means to resist the governor's actions. So that's what comforted Twene had to say about this development. The governor said it, and the governor has done it, I suppose. But here's what comfort thinks about it.
Nobody has officially told us why, but following the governor's threat of the no work, no pay, we are assuming that is why our salaries have been slashed, because we discovered that even those of our sister union, GSUN, in the judiciary have also been slashed. The governor is also proving to the world that there is no autonomy in Rivers State, because if there is autonomy indeed, like he claims, then we wouldn't have access to our salaries. We've started taking actions. We cannot let it low. We've reported to the national leadership of our union, and they'll take it up from there. They entered an MOU. Nobody will be penalized as a result of this strike action.
How can we say His Excellency is not implementing independence? His Excellency has given them all their money, up even allegedly till 2026, allegedly, or something like that. I think the governor said something about some futuristic money. I think I need to dig that up. That's been given to them. Yeah, it's been given to them. It's, in fact, it's very, very, very not unlikely that Rivers State is the only state in the whole country. The first to implement, they're always the first to implement everything. And implement this one also. Giving them everything. Even giving them more. Giving them more than they're asking for. All the honorables in the house, who is giving them things? If His Excellency in his magnanimity does not give them things, can they do anything? Honorable. Even feeding. Oh, come on, come off it. His Excellency is the things that he does for them. Nobody else does the things that he does for them. Giving them feeding, giving them housing, giving them cars, giving them all these things. Even up to our judiciary. Who does the things that His Excellency does for our judiciary? Gives them houses. Give them big cars. All these things. The Excellencies do. And somebody will say that they are not independent. When all of them, our lordships all line up to thank His Excellency for the wonderful things he's doing in their lives. God, the way God is using, the way God is using His Excellency to bless our judges, to bless our lawmakers, in fact, and somebody will say that he's not implementing autonomy. Well, the way God is using him in their lives, God will judge. God will judge all these people. All right, so I do have to wrap up the segment shortly. I think now might be a good time. So that's a wrap for now. Your Excellencies, finally, I hope to resume my duties possibly as soon as possible. Maybe, hopefully next week. In my capacity as a self-appointed Senior Special Advisor on reminding you of critical matters. And to the versatile CP, we hope that you're controlling your boys, your children, who especially the crackheads amongst them. We hope you're doing your best to control them and ensure that they are as professional as possible so that you can win back the confidence of Rivers residents. Because as you always remind us, you need the people, the citizens, or security is everyone's responsibility. But if your crackheads keep on killing and maiming and stealing from and torturing civilians, how is that going to happen? Well, that's a wrap for now. I go for a break. When I return, today's round comes on. Please stay with us.
We give the facts.
News entirely.
We give the evidence. Just to keep you informed.
News, weather. I get my information top of the hour every hour.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Are you running late and can't make it down to our Room OC office to book your commercials? Don't worry, because you can take advantage of our marketing office inside Port Harcourt to book your commercials. It is located at Shop 9 Mediatrix of All Graces Plaza, opposite FIRS Stadium Road, Port Harcourt. You can also call our sales rep on 0817 001 8162. That's 0817 001 8162.
We give the facts.
News entirely.
We give the evidence. Just to keep you informed.
News, weather. I get my information top of the hour every hour.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
And now, hard facts.
Hard facts with Dio.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. It is Hard Fact to 90.3 Nigeria Info. Here in Port Harcourt, I'm Dio. 27 minutes to go before 4 o'clock. And I'd like to rant for just a bit. I've got something on my mind. I'd like to express some thoughts on it. And you're welcome to express your thoughts and mine till 4 p.m. It could be argued, as I believe many Nigerians do argue, and maybe rightly so, that a lot is wrong with the country. Or that everything that can go wrong with the country has gone wrong and possibly even currently is going wrong with the country. It can be said, as has been said by many, that the country is not in a good place. And we need to reposition the country. We need to refocus the country. We need to redirect the country. And for some, what hurts the most is Nigeria's got immense potentials. And that's not just some sweet-sounding rhetoric. No, it's not some motivational speech. It's actual fact. The potentials are enormous. But years and years of neglect and bad governance and irresponsible leadership even have continually led this country down a rabbit hole and is even further plunging the country into an abyss. It gets worse even every day, such that when you think that you've seen the worst that could possibly happen, it's almost like the leadership just think of new ways to confound Nigerians, and not in a positive way, by the way. Definitely not in a positive way. So, should Nigerians think of ways of liberating themselves, of redirecting, refocusing the country, ensuring that they get responsible and responsive leadership that's going to effectively manage the peculiarities, the dynamics and the challenges of this nation, and proffer solutions to our myriad of problems, and take this country to El Dorado, to the heights and a respectable position in the Committee of Nations, Of course. Why not? Nigerians should do that. Every well-meaning, sensible, reasonable, rational thinking Nigerian should want that. And should, by the way, go beyond just wanting that, but contribute their quota to nation building and national development. And guess what? It can be done. It can be done. And there might be several ways to go about accomplishing that. One of them, definitely, is not waging a war against the Nigerian state. It cannot be a way to go about it. And whenever stories or reports like this come out of some person or group of persons who are threatening fire and brimstone, either going to war with the state or threatening to go to war with the state, I mean, you have a lot of Nigerians who are cheering in the background and say, yes, show them, give it to them. And it just makes me wonder, if you were that passionate about the country, if you truly want a better Nigeria, why not do what you can as a citizen? Because there is a peaceful way to reposition and redirect this country. There is. And I'll get to that in a moment. But the inspiration for my rant today is a story I imagine you're familiar with already. But this version from the Punch newspaper is captioned, "We killed 2, arrested 13 aides in Igboho's house raid," says DSS. The DSS on Thursday paraded 12 of Sunday Igboho's followers, saying one other was being profiled. The DSS said in a joint team of security operatives had raided Igboho's residence early on Thursday based on an intelligence report. Parading the suspect at the national headquarters of the secret police, its spokesman Peter Afunaya said the security team was engaged in a gun duel by 9 men suspected to be Igboho's guards. Afunaya said, quote, "A team of joint security operatives raided the residence of Sunday Adeyemo at Soka in Ibadan. This was based on intelligence that he had stockpiled arms in the place. On approach to his residence, the team came under heavy gun attack by 9 men suspected to be Igboho's guards. 6 were armed with AK-47 guns and 3 others with pump-action rifles. In the course of the exchange, 2 of the armed men were gunned down, while the rest were subdued and arrested. Only one operative, who was shot by the assailant in his right hand, sustained injury. He has, however, received medical attention and is very stable. Now, the gun duel, which lasted an hour, offered Igboho the chance to escape. Sunday Adeyemo, aka Igboho, is now on the run. Now, those arrested, their names are listed. Afunai added that the team searched the house and subsequently recovered 7 AK-47 assault rifles, 3 pump-action guns, 30 fully charged AK-47 magazines, 5,000 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition, 5 cutlasses, 1 jackknife, 1 penknife, 2 pistol holders, a pair of binoculars, a wallet containing $5, local and international driving licenses in his name, ATM cards, a German residence permit number blah 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 bearing his name, 2 whistles, 50 cartridges, and 18 walkie-talkies. Others are 3 charm jackets / traditional body armor. Apparently we can't do it without the charms then. 2 laptops, 1 Toshiba, 1 blah 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 blah. Now Afunai added that 5 of the AK-47 assault rifles recovered from his residence was snatched from Nigeria Customs and Immigration personnel at Idiroko, Ogun State. There is no country anywhere in the world, no matter how democratic they may be it the US, be it the UK, be it Canada, be it New Zealand, Australia, you name it, the one that you love the most, the one that you believe you should be living in right now with your family, holding their passport, whichever country it is. No country in the world is going to stand aside and watch anybody, by whatever name, under whatever guise, by whatever group or association, with whatever motivation, arm itself and declare a war against the state. It is not going to happen. And if we are going to change the course of this country, it is not going to be by declaring war against the state. And once again, I do imagine that there are persons around the country who might be cheering on actions like this and say, don't worry, we're going to do more, we're going to get more. It's not going to work. It's as simple as that, because even if, and I hope we never get to that point, even if we do have somebody who declares war against the state and somehow manages to wrestle power against or from people who are in power right now, what usually trails people like that is they become dictators themselves. That's what they become. People's lives don't necessarily get better. The lives of citizens don't necessarily get better because somebody has waged war against the state or against the government and has snatched power by force. It doesn't work that way. Look at our democratic systems right now. Upon analysis, many persons would argue the reasons we have failures of government in many instances in Nigeria is because even though we have a seemingly democratic process to elect people in government, the democratic process is flawed, or at least as we practice it here, because a lot of the politicians do not really rely on the votes of the electorate to get into office. That's why they will come to buy bole and fish and buy ugu in the market and carry babies wearing pants in the rural areas during elections, but after that his number will no longer be available after he has won the election and has been sworn into office. Now imagine such a person who even went as far as eating bole and fish with you and carrying babies, some of them completely naked, not minding that they might pee on his lovely designed attire. Imagine such a person going through all of that stress and still not giving you the so-called dividends of democracy. Do you think that somebody who wrestles power by force, who takes it from the barrel of the gun, will care about your interests, will care about your health care, will care about giving you democracy, will care about what you think? Once again, no responsible government, or even an irresponsible one for that matter, will stand aside and let people wage war against the state and let people amass weapons and let people cause unrest. It's not going to happen anywhere. But it's not all doom and gloom for Nigeria or Nigerians. There's a way out. Exercise your franchise. Rather than wait for a Sunday Igboho or any other person under whatever name or guise to pick up arms and want to blow up things or snatch guns from security personnel or even kill security personnel, threaten mayhem, threaten fire and brimstone, threaten to pull down the country and destroy everything in the name of wanting democracy, rather than wait for that to happen while you cheer in the background, why don't you just rise up and be a part of the process? Being a part of the process does not mean you being a card-carrying member of a party. Nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean you're running for office, but nothing wrong with that. It means be concerned with the process. Be concerned with the process. Because the persons who are hailing the Sunday Igbohos of this world and the others like them, elections will come. Two categories. Either they will go to the same people who they say that are destroying the country. They go and dance at campaign grounds. They collect t-shirts and face caps, wrapper, rice and oil, and 2,000 naira for their transport, and go home and do nothing. And there's another category who are going to sit down at home on election day, be watching TV and tweeting, well, I don't know if Twitter is going to be back then, at Nigeria Info PH, saying, you people, what's happening? You people, you people should help us and tell them. You people should help us and tell them. You fold your hands, you cross your legs, you do absolutely nothing. Call Nigeria for and say there's nothing you can do, nothing you can do, and then you want the situation to change. Then you sit back in the background and you're hailing some person who's threatening to destroy everything that we stand for in the name of people in government being bad. Once again, as I conclude, no government in the world, either responsible or irresponsible, is going to stand aside, fold its arms, and watch this happen. It's not going to happen. If you think that's going to liberate this country, you're making a huge mistake. Here's what we need to do. Elections are going to come. Get your voters' cards. Sensitize yourselves and people around you. Seek knowledge and information. Vote for people who you know or who you trust. You may not be right 100% of the time, but whom you trust and have high hopes are going to be concerned about your interest and make policies and implement these policies in the best interest of the general good. Not people who are structural, not people who are on grant, because structure and on grandness is what led us to where we are today. I do hope that the justice delivery system will work in the case of the Sundays, Igbos, the Nnamdi Kanus of this world, and anybody else, by the way, who has been caught in the web of justice at this time. But the guns are not going to give us what we want or need in this country. Nigerians finally waking up to their own responsibility is what's going to do that. On that note, I end my rant. Thanks for listening. I really hope I didn't bore you. I'd like to get your take right now. The lines are open 0817 923 0002 or 0003 or 0007. We are live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp is on 0809 030 6416. Please keep it brief and straight to the point. Let's see, do I have a call? Oh, sorry, I've got Chinemerem from about the line. You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dayo, good evening.
Go ahead.
I was thinking that the government should have invited him. Then, if he did not come, then before they will invade his house.
Well, it's okay for you to think that, but the government. Can you hear me?
If you
can you hear me?
Invade somebody's house. And
can you hear me? All right, good to hear from you. Andy from Alu, hello, you're welcome. Please go on.
Yeah, Dayo, good evening.
Go ahead.
Happy weekend. Yes, haven't heard your rant. I think it's better that everybody knows or should realize that in as much as we know that our country is a sovereign country and we're operating a little bit of democracy but not completely democracy. Our advice, if you ask me, because every one of us has been delivered or born by a man and a woman. And I think if our parents had agitated the way we are doing agitations this time, I don't think any of us will be born. So my plea and my begging an aspect of the whole thing is that please, if you are agitating, you have a limit within the ambits of the law. It's not by at the end of the day, you try as much as possible to begin to bring problems to the country. And if you start that, at the end of the day, your agitation is zero. People are being killed. People are being maimed. So many persons have gotten lost up till now. We don't know how many persons that have been killed in that environment. But what we're saying is, please, we beg Nigeria, in as much as a sovereign nation, please, agitation should have a limit. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and I need to add, take it from Andy's position. I need to add that as well. Agitations are very much not wrong. They're not illegal. It's not bad to agitate. It's not bad to even embark on a protest or express your disaffection or dissatisfaction with government positions or policies or implementation. But as Andy said, and very important, it all must be done within the confines of the law. If you accuse a person of doing things illegally and you want to correct that, you cannot go about doing that in an illegal way, because you may have heard that saying that two wrongs do not make a right. I've got Peace from Illinois on the right. Peace, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Dayo. Good afternoon.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, your rant was quite in order, but at the concluding part of it, I felt somehow, because you mentioned John Igboho. You also mentioned Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes, I did.
You know, as people that might have been carried or might have in any way carried arms against the state.
Yes.
But brother, you did not mention the Fulani herdsmen that are carrying arms, killing Nigerians. You didn't mention them.
Those are two different things. They're not the same. Fulani herdsmen are bad for the country. That's what you want me to say. They are bad for the country. But what the essence of the rant is quite different from Fulani herdsmen.
Of the country that they are killing the citizens.
Once
of the
again,
country.
Fulani herdsmen are bad. Are you listening to me, sir? Fulani herdsmen are bad for the country. Fulani herdsmen should be arrested and dealt with. But that's different from the context of this conversation.
Well, it's okay, but finally, I want to tell you that the John Igbohos that are actually fighting this, they are doing this because of what Fulani herdsmen are doing in their
Once again,
society.
peace, I'm going to have to end the conversation. It's not about Fulani herdsmen. Some other day we'll discuss Fulani herdsmen. This conversation is definitely not about them. Sam, hello, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Dayo. I do agree with you that no reasonable government or any government for that matter will fold its arms in the face of insurrection. But I also do believe that a government shouldn't keep mute in the face of a group of people who arm themselves and destroy the lives of other innocent citizens. And only when people rise up in a bid to defend themselves, that's when the government reads the riot act. I really do not believe that that's fair. That's not in line with the laws of natural justice. So while you condemn the debate about people putting together arms illegally, also condemn the government for not doing their part to defend the citizenry. Thank you.
All right, Sam. Well, Sam was kind of towing the line of the previous caller, and that's fine. But not everything, in my estimation, should be ethnicized. Not every conversation should have an ethnic coloration. And for the opening time, the Fulani or the bandits or the herders, I don't like to use the word Fulani actually in describing them, the criminal elements who pose as herders or criminal herders, because not all herders are criminal or murderers, and the so-called bandits are bad the same way that kidnappers are bad for the country. And we have kidnappers who are not Fulani. We have kidnappers who are not herdsmen. We have murderers down south as well. We have people who deprive families of their loved ones and dispossess them of humongous sums of money and kill them, and that's bad for the country also. But this is somewhat different. The reason this is different is these are people who claim that the country is bad, okay? And we want to change the narrative. We want to free ourselves. And that's why this is different from some criminal herders or bandits or whatever other criminal activity takes place anywhere in the country. They're very different things here. So you say you want to liberate the people. You want to engender democracy. An insurrection cannot be the way to go about that. And that's why they're very different, actually. I've got Moses on the line. Moses from Garrison, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, Dayo, good evening.
Go ahead, hi. Moses, you're welcome. Go ahead.
The raid on Sunday Igboho's house. Dayo, you see, one thing I know, and the issue of this, our security, whatever. Dayo, I tell you, 90% of those things you name that they said was found in his house, Dayo, 90% of those things are lies.
Oh, come on. Come on, seriously.
Dayo,
why do you think that? Why do you think
there
so?
was a day while I was in the north in Jos.
Yes.
They raided one of my neighbor's room with 2 men on guard. Even the only knife they find in his room is this chin knife. But by evening time, when they parade him, I saw 2 pistols, 1 4 AK-47. I don't understand. Where did they get these things from? Dayo, I tell you,
where those who get what things from?
Yeah?
You said, where do they get these things from? Who are you referring to?
Where did the security, they have those things in their office. Once they get who they want to get, they showcase those things.
Wait, Sunday Igboho's men were the gun duel lasted about an hour. Are you saying throughout that period, the DSS operatives were shooting at each other for about an hour?
Dayo, do you have any video to cover to show us?
Okay. Also, it was reported that Sunday Igboho's men.
I never trusted any security personnel in this country, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I will never trust them.
All right.
Yes, that's my take.
Okay. Hello, Nelson. Welcome. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, go ahead, Nelson. Yeah.
Okay. This is the very few times that I actually disagree with you. Yeah. Because every case is unique in its own right. Nigerian case is different. Now, if you follow history,
yeah,
Eritrea, they broke away from Ethiopia. How did it happen? It wasn't through. It was they became independent, and then they insisted on it, and then they forced their way through it. Because it wasn't a situation where you were going to dialogue and negotiate, because those guys were not going to take any of those things from you. It was like you're staying put, you're not going anywhere. So they had to force their way out. Even Nelson Mandela took up arms at some point against the African government, against the white African government. He took up arms. And he succeeded eventually, ultimately.
No,
South Africa is free.
No, he
you have
didn't.
a black South African president.
No, Nelson Mandela.
Nelson
Mandela did not become president of South Africa through armed struggle. Now, talking about hold on.
Against the South African government, he took up arms. Well,
he did not become president. He did not become president of South Africa through armed struggle. That's my point. Now, Eritrea.
The point I'm making is that at some point you cannot. You have to fight the fight according to the way the situation presents itself.
Eritrea. You referenced Eritrea. What is the state of Eritrea right now? You referenced Eritrea. What is the state of Eritrea right now?
The state of Eritrea right now?
Yes. What is the condition in which Eritrea is?
It may not be perfect, but at least they're better than Nigeria in terms of stability.
In terms of what?
In terms of stability, yes. Peace, stability is better than Nigeria.
Okay. That remains to be seen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nigeria, the federal government right now. Now let me ask you: How do you expect the likes of Nnamdi Kanu and all that? Do you expect that they will go to the federal government and negotiate, and federal government would grant them their wish? Will that ever happen?
No. If you think, how
do you expect them to go about it?
And I've said it is not. Nelson, I believe you have expressed yourself. It is not up to one or two individuals to liberate this country. I mean, and by the way, feel free to go through history. Nelson Mandela might be the poster individual as far as South Africa's liberation is concerned, but it wasn't the job. It wasn't Nelson Mandela's job alone. There were many other South Africans, many of them prominent, some of them possibly unsung, and the contributions of even many other nations like Nigeria and individuals in Nigeria, many individuals outside South Africa that led to South Africa's liberation. But once again, that is not in any way trying to diminish the efforts and contributions of the great and legendary Nelson Mandela. But the point I'm making is, it's not up to an Nnamdi Kanu, it's not up to a Sunday Igboho to liberate Nigeria. It doesn't work that way. Until Nigerians come to until Nigerians collectively, or at least the vast majority of Nigerians, come to an understanding of the need to play their role in freeing this country, it's not going to happen. I do have to wrap this off with the news now, and I'm pained that I didn't get to read any comments via Facebook. Can I do a couple via WhatsApp before then? Let me see if I can do that. Hello, Dial. In as much as one may likely understand the perspective, the situation in Nigeria is scary because the government is seemingly conniving with the terroristic elements to harm its citizens. You don't expect the people to fold their hands, keep dying until the next election. No, you don't. That's what you call. The question is, what led to the insurrection by the Igboho Zanko? The government failed to address the issues of insecurity by some groups. How many times have the votes of citizens counted in this country? Your opinion is not realistic, in my opinion. Mere radio talk. Well, you may consider it mere radio talk. I didn't expect you I didn't expect this position to be a popular one, by the way, and that's totally fine. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to happen. And that's the truth. No Nnamdi Kanu, no Igboho is going to liberate this country until Nigerians themselves come to an understanding that they have a responsibility to themselves and to their nation. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. As sad as that may be for you, it's not going to happen. All right, with 4 p.m., a break for the business news now. Discussions continue afterwards with the principal who sent the military to discipline students. When I return, stay with us.